Michael, you need like a clapper, like for movies.
Ooh.
And it's like, and action.
It's like clapper.
Yeah. No, like,
Oh, we could get those hands.
oh, even better.
Those are clappers.
Those are clappers.
That's what I thought you were talking about. I was like,
No, like one of these numbers.
you tell people when to move along.
No, that's a hook. You need a hook for it.
That would be the wrong thing to do.
Didn't you tell he used to have he had a hockey stick.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay, we are now ready to go if you guys are ready.
All right, I'm going to call the Transportation Committee meeting to order. Can I get a motion to approve minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Those are approved. We have a presentation by NCDOT about a stoplight removal. I want to remind everybody we're all friends here. We're going to have a nice chat, learn what we need to. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Newcomb. I'm the Division 9 Traffic Engineer for NCDOT Division 9. I'm also here with Mazite Tucker, who's our Deputy Division Engineer. So Michael asked us to come present to you all about a proposal we had sent to him a few weeks ago regarding the intersection of Fisher Ferry Street and Holly Hill Road here in Thomasville. Those are SR 2813 and SR 2060. So just briefly, I have some slides to kind of give you some background about how we got here. So this intersection has been signalized for a long time. If you are familiar with the area, you probably know that the signal cabinet is pole mounted and has been struck by vehicles on several occasions. It's currently in a state of somewhat disrepair and needs to be replaced. And that's what sort of started driving this conversation. So as my staff brought this issue to my attention, I started looking into what it would take for us to get this cabinet off of the pole and get it ground mounted away from traffic. Some of the things that we've identified at this location is that right-of-way is limited. It looks like on the tax map that we are pretty tight. Generally speaking, where the utility poles are located generally serves as the right-of-way line. So you can see how close they are to the pavement, which would give you an indication that in order to resolve this, we'd probably have to acquire some sort of right-of-way or easement from one of the adjacent properties. The other things we've identified here is that the existing signal span is currently too close to the existing overhead power. Duke Energy, other power utilities have a standard separation from their neutral lines that's supposed to be 30 inches away. Right now we're mounted about 2 inches underneath it, along with the other communication facilities that ride on this same pole line. And like a lot of intersections, it's been a long time since this one was rewired, rebuilt, and so it could probably use a complete overhaul. So as we started pricing those things, and in this photo you can see how close we are to the power attachments. To just acquire a corner clip that would be wide enough to get a cabinet ground mounted. Talking with our project development team, our right-of-way unit, we put a placeholder there of $15,000. It's not a lot of square footage, but should we run into a property owner that doesn't want to negotiate, or we have to get an appraisal done, or heaven forbid file a condemnation just for a small clip, we put a buffer in there for that. The big ticket item is the utility relocations. To get taller poles put in on two corners, you have to go back down the line from the intersection. Those poles, the height that we would need, generally run in the $40,000 to $50,000 per pole range, and so that would be a heavy expense to try to get the utilities elevated here. We would need some engineering work for both the survey of the right-of-way acquisition and then updating the signal plan. And then rewiring and ground mounting the cabinet would be about $130,000. So all told, we're looking at a potential $400,000 to $450,000 endeavor to try to get this cabinet removed off of the pole and on the ground. So when I see a number like that, knowing that my entire budget for secondary signal maintenance in all of Davidson County is approximately $360,000 a year, I started asking some more questions, and we started pulling some more data at this location. So what we found is that the average annual daily traffic volumes on the approaches, we have some count stations in close proximity to the intersection on both routes. Those AEDTs have declined year by year, for more than the last 10 years. We did a turning movement count back in November of 2025 when this issue first arose. And based on that turning movement count, looking at AM, midday, PM peaks, looking at the full 4-hour and 8-hour warrants for traffic signals, the current volumes at this location don't meet the warrants for a traffic signal. So in other words, if we didn't have a signal there today and we were asked to analyze this intersection and consider it, we wouldn't put a traffic signal there because it doesn't meet the volume warrants. And so I took the volume data and we modeled the intersection as it currently is as a traffic signal. And then we considered what it would be like in an always stop condition. And one of the reasons that I leaned towards an always stop is that in the last 12 months, we've had, and our friends here from the police department can probably attest to this, we've had 5 crashes where vehicles on Holly Hill have actually run the red indication. And looking at 5 years worth of crashes, that pattern it carries over from year to year. And so one of the ways that we could potentially curtail that, knowing the volumes that we have at this location, would be to implement an always stop. It's much more likely that I could avoid the collision of someone who's not going to stop at that stop sign if I'm already at a stop condition versus driving through on a green indication. We've also had some left turn, same roadway crashes here on both streets. And so again, an always stop could help curtail those crashes. So we feel like it would be a safer alternative. And the volumes that we have out there today, the always stop would function actually slightly better than the signal currently functions. And part of that's because running just minimum green times on your main lines, when there's not a lot of traffic there, you're sort of arbitrarily delaying the side streets. Whereas if I pull up to an always stop and there's no one coming on the other approaches, I can proceed. And so here are some numbers that kind of back that up a little bit. I've got level of service grades, A, B, C, and D, and then the associated vehicle delay per vehicle, seconds per vehicle that we got from the model. Looking at the existing signal condition today, we see anywhere from 2 to even more than that seconds per vehicle delay improvements, particularly on the westbound Holly Hill approach, where again you're stopping that movement even if there's nobody coming until the signal gaps out. So in light of the fact that it performs a little bit better, and then also still with the volumes we see today, the always stop would have some capacity. So in other words, if we start to see growth in this area, if things redevelop, for instance, and we start to see traffic pick up, the always stop would still function pretty well before we would be back in a situation where signalizing the intersection might be required. And so from our vantage point, we can implement this always stop for probably less than $5,000. And that would include wrecking out some of the signal equipment once the always stop is implemented. So from a dollars and cents standpoint, as a department, knowing the numbers we see from a traffic standpoint and how it models, it just made sense to us to go forward with this. And so we wanted to present this information to you, kind of make you aware of what we found and what we've seen, and then try to answer any questions that you might have.
So thank you for the presentation. But when a change or shift is made in this kind of area where it's been traditionally a light for so long, what kind of procedures are put in place to help ensure people that just have some of that muscle memory that might not even really realize that it's a four-way stop just because they've just been here so long? What are we putting in place to ensure that we're curving some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. So we would first off do a press release, We would put up variable message signs on each approach, probably 2 weeks in advance to say new traffic pattern coming. And then when we do a new implementation like this, we always add stop ahead signs particularly on the approaches that are not the main line that's used to having that green indication. But we'll do stop aheads on all approaches. And then your average stop sign, if you were to go through the neighborhood, you'd probably see stop signs that are 30 inches, maybe a 36-inch wide stop sign. When we do an implementation like this where we're doing a drastic change, we'd probably start with our 48-inch stop signs. So I call them the big boys. So we'd put the big boys out there. We'd probably put 36-inch wide stop aheads. We'd have flags on them as well for the first month or so of the implementation, so that it stares you in the face when you approach the intersection.
I'm not going to be able to speak intelligently about this, but I'm remembering a conversation about Fisher Ferry, and there are plans to straighten it out at some point. Yes?
That's another location.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, is that
But it's not near this. I mean, it's near it. It's on the same road. But my concern, and I know this is just going to happen and it's going to be fine. I'm concerned, and maybe this is something that our police need to be aware of. When we straighten that out and make it a runway to this intersection, that we're going to have issues with people approaching that much faster without a light. But I just wanted to put that out there, because I don't know when that's going to happen. I feel like they've been talking about it for 300 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
The curve at Fisher Ferry,
Okay.
that's so far away there. Main Street.
Timeline.
It's getting pushed back.
Okay.
I think people are going to fly.
Yeah.
They already treat it as a racetrack.
It's going to get worse, yeah.
DOT's acquired the right of way, at least from the city,
Okay.
but I'm not sure what.
Is that part of the bridge replacement project?
I think that's what it is.
Okay, the bridge replacement project there. Okay, that's where I think we're still facing some challenges with the railroad, if I'm not mistaken.
Classic.
Yeah. So, shocker there. No, this is on the record here. So I'm not sure what the timeline is, but I don't believe it may be programmed in this current fiscal year. But at this point, my staff, we're ready to implement this. So the silver lining there would be is that we could get this condition in place before that work happens, so that hopefully traffic that uses this route regularly would be used to the always stop condition. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, they already use that area right there as a racetrack. I mean, my concern is that if you put the four-way stops up there, I mean, they're not going to stop and somebody's going to get seriously hurt there. I mean, there was just a wreck there the other day at that intersection.
I live at this intersection and it's horrible. And I think that if you remove the stoplight, it's going to get even worse. And
Yeah.
my husband is a police officer in Thomasville, so he's already issued concerns about it as well. So
Yeah, so again, one of the things I mentioned was that the crash pattern that we've seen here is actually the things that are happening there could actually be based on the research we have at the state, could be actually curtailed by an all-way stop. Now, whether you have a red light or you have a stop sign, there isn't a lot that can be done from a police officer standpoint or a traffic engineer standpoint about someone who's going to disregard that traffic control device. So we run that risk no matter what kind of traffic control device we install there. But the pattern we have seen there is actually from what we would consider the minor street approach, the one that's not getting the green time all the time, Holly Hill, is people running that red light. And what happens there is if I'm coming on Fisher Ferry and I see a green indication, I'm going through that intersection. And I don't know that guy coming down Holly Hill is not going to stop at his red and he's going to plow into me. But the silver lining there would be if I've come to a complete stop at a stop sign, I'm going to look and gauge that traffic and potentially have the ability to avoid that crash. Could something serious still happen there? Absolutely. And that's something that we would consider. And that's something we would continue to observe. We wouldn't wreck the signal equipment out day one, just so you know. We implemented one of these in Moxville a couple months ago at their request of the town. And we left the signal equipment in place just to make sure that we weren't, opening a can of worms and needed to turn that thing back on. But thankfully, that always stop at an intersection that's actually got some pretty weird geometry, the way the legs attach. has been working very well. And the town actually informed us last week that they went ahead and removed the signal equipment. So, so we have, seen this in some other areas within the division where it just made sense to implement it, and it's worked. But so I certainly understand the concerns.
So
for
is
sure.
that something that we're going to do? We're going to leave it up to see how it functions?
Yeah, we would not, wreck out the equipment day one.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming and sharing that with us. It's not something we've always had in the past, so
Yeah.
I appreciate it and hearing our thoughts on it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. We got any other business?
That is the only business.
Cool. I don't get to transportation committee very often, so this has been fun. Thank you for being here. I did talk to Michael, and we're going to get an update in the coming months about street paving, because I know that's going to look different this year because our budget looks different this year. But they're working on getting that. It's not happening right now or pressing. So we will hear from them later, but I think that's it. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second. You're not on there.
You got to.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, we're adjourned.
Let's take a break.
No,
No.
that one is. We're going to break now.